Yo, welcome back to another Think Zone podcast, Boruto Sox segment. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, yeah, this is going to be an interesting video today. I hope you guys are going to like this one. Um, if you guys want to speak on the stage, you guys already know what to do. Go ahead and join the Discord down below. Check out, there might be a link on Twitter as well, so definitely check out the main page for YouTube. Um, that way you can get the most recent link and information. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting video. Let me go ahead and adjust my headphones because I hate when I can't hear myself. Um, basically like this is, oh my gosh, sorry. Give me just a second, guys. Um, honestly, this is probably gonna shock a lot of you guys. But yeah, I do have a life, so I'm not gonna be able to like kind of stream as much as I used to on the weekday. Um, and even more rare when it pertains to the weekend. But this is going to be a Boruto Talk segment. Oh my gosh. Um, a special one at that. And if you have seen the link on the title, um, then you already know what we're going to talk about today, right? So there was a very special person that I brought up in the previous stream, and it just basically reminded me of things that I already knew, kind of confirmed some things that I believe should be going on in the next few chapters between chapters 1 and chapters 5. Um, and I think that will probably, based off the events that have occurred in chapter 1, I think there's enough to assert that there is a very, very real possibility of us getting the moment of chapter 1. And I know I brought this up while I was doing the chapter review. If some of you guys, if you guys want to check the date on that, I think it was about a week ago, about the time that the ban chapter ban scans came out. But the age of Shinobi is over. What does that mean? What does that mean? And I'll tell you what that means to stream. Go ahead and like this video. Subscribe. Why not, right? I mean, you could always unsubscribe, but if we're already putting out um more to content, I don't see why there would be a need to. But no, right? Um, your host, Joan Fanfic, and today we're going to be exploring the age of Shinobi, specifically the best theory you've ever heard, right? And I'll tell you that it's going to get interesting. Episode 1, I think it's very, very close, right? Based off of the events of, or the possible events, right? I'll, of course, give you, um, I'll include some excuse me. I'm a little, I guess I need some water. Oh, I'm gonna provide some context in this stream. So if you have anything you want to add, any questions surrounding it while I'm going through it, make sure to save your questions for the end. Join the Discord, and maybe we could talk we could talk about it there. And this is gonna be probably the most interesting thing you've heard about Boruto. Yes, I do still um, follow Boruto as I follow most anime. I am an anime slash fictional reviewer. I cannot talk today. Apparently, apparently, uh, conditions are making it so we can't even speak a coherent sentence. Hey, but no worries, right? We are the zone, all right? So, what I mean by that, right? If we look back, let's start from the beginning, right? In Boruto's beginning, I believe it starts at the end of Naruto. I truly believe that, right? A lot of the information you'll hear in this podcast today, you will not hear on any other platform until after today. Just be cautious of that, right? So, from this point in time, I will be going over complete, like, um, some semi new, but it'll be the storyline and the events to occur, which I'll talk about and explain thoroughly. Um, it's gonna be the first time you've heard this, right? So, I believe that the events of Naruto at the end of Naruto are the reasons why Boruto exists. Hear me out, right? And and it's going to predict the events of the future chapters, specifically 1 through 5, right? So at the end of Naruto, right, we get Kaguya, right? Um, and we get an introduction into the Otsutsuki, right? And then throughout all of that, we get an ideology. I think a lot of people kind of miss that, the ideology of the will of fire. And these words didn't specifically come out of Sasuke's mouth when he mentioned a revolution, right? But this is the peak of Sasuke, right? As Sasuke being one of the primary characters to parallel only the main character, right? This is very important, right? So if we look a bit into Sasuke's ideology, and I predicted that this was a possibility if they kept Sasuke alive into the time skip. But I truly believe this is one of the reasons why they had Sasuke training Boruto, primarily because he is the only one that could actually mention anything like this, right? Talk about his revolution, because how else would Boruto, right, his student, be aware of his Sasuke's misfortunes, his sensei's ideologies, right, um, and misfortunes? How else would he be aware unless he survived into the time skip? Was there ever any mentioning of his idea of a revolution that he spoke about to Boruto during the time skip? Right now, Sasuke's idea was to essentially create a revolution that would, if he was not able to take over as a global leader, or Hokage was his primary goal, he was just going to create a revolution, right? And he was going to use the Biju to do that. Now, if Naruto wasn't, if there wasn't a cycle that had to be completed, I think, and Naruto being that factor within the cycle, then I think that things may have went otherwise, right? And I'm saying this based off of Confucianist and Buddhist mythology, um, ideology in mind, right? As we know that the Naruto franchise uses this primarily, right? Um, Now, and um, when it pertains to Sasuke's ideology and the will of fire itself, there's a video. If you would like, I might pin it in my in the comment section down below. It's called "The Dark Side of the Will of Fire." Right now, the dark side of the Will of Fire goes over the ins and outs, the betrayal of Itachi Uchiha, right? One of the the primary protectors of Konoha, right? The pinnacle of villages, right? And a very powerful village in the Shinobi world and the Shinobi ideology. It can be said, in a way, that other villages follow a similar ideology because of the will of fire from the leaf. Right now, I'm saying all of this to kind of bring it all together, to kind of tie it together, because I will. I'll eventually get back to Boruto in just a second. All right, so the will of fire. We look back at Sasuke's event, right? We look back at his need for a revolution, right? And there's a parallel that when you look at Boruto and Kawaki and Sasuke and Naruto, it's kind of switched, right? And I figured that what would have to happen based off of the events of course, chapter one, right? We see where Boruto is saying, "I am still a shinobi." Right now, we figured, right, something is going on. Some predicted that, you know, of course, he would be taken over by um Momoshiki, right? And we basically hit the ballpark, right? Um, I will go in more into depth with Momoshiki specifically, but over the events of the time skip, I do believe that there may have been some mentioning. Um, Sasuke is not a perfect shinobi, right? But he has a damn near perfect ideology, or he knows not a perfect ideology. Um, his instinct is damn near unmatched, right? When it pertains to the overall picture, right? Instinctively, he knew that based off of the events that happened to his brother and the other villages, there's definitely some political decline within some of the villages, right? We see that when Mitsuki ran away to the Stone Village, right? Um, we see that in the Mist. We see that. I think we've even seen it in the Cloud, right? There's not complete agreement within in coherence within each of the villages, but it's more so a a destructive way that some of these villages have uh, they've utilized their shinobis, and I think Kawaki is going to be that barrier that basically comes in and says we need to get rid of the system. Why do we need to get rid of the system? Well, we have Otsutsuki, and that's a very, very, very important factor to this overall conclusion. Otsutsuki, right? Now, can Kawaki alone convince the Shinobi people, or the Leaf, right, or even the Hokage, the Elders? Can he do that? Now, prior to the events of the time skip, we have Kawaki alone. He's essentially um new to the village, right? No one's gonna listen to him. He doesn't really have any um standing in the village, right? Now, since the events of the time skip, we know that time has passed and roles have also been flipped. So we could even consider let's consider pre-time skip Boruto, right? Pre-time skip Boruto, was he even capable? No. Well, we know that he wasn't very um he started off a brat, right? Then he kind of worked his way through certain missions, right? Kind of gaining attraction and attention. Um, but he didn't really have um that presence of a leader. That was Sarada, right? Mind you, that was Sarada. Um, Now I think that she's in a very peculiar situation because of the events that are about to occur. Is there another time skip that's about to occur? I think that's a very likely possibility. Now, um, it may only be a few months, but I think what'll probably happen, and there may not be a time skip. Another time skip does not need to happen for this overall picture to work, right? Now, when it pertains to uh, what's going to happen, code is here, right? So code being the main factor, this is one of the things that I believe that Kawaki was leaning on or was waiting for. Now he understands that Boruto may not have had the authority to speak up about, how the Shinobi world needs to be, um, how the Shinobi world needs to be leading itself, right? And moving forward to get rid of the threat of Otsutsuki, because we've got threats like Shibai, right? Who's not even on planet, or he may be, but it's not confirmed, right? To me, I can go into that another stream. I might do a stream directly after that, just kind of going specifically into the lore of it all. But I'm going to be talking about now the events of chapter 1 through chapter 5. right? We have the Code War. Now, Kawaki, he's more the type of person I think to strategically plan things out, right? At least that's how I feel like he is now. Now, I say that because we can see that his mannerisms have kind of changed toward the civilians of the Leaf. Now, that may not apply to certain Shinobi, but he takes a different approach, right? Now, he has all the power in the world to just do whatever he wants. He has Ada, he has Damon, he can do whatever he wants, but he seems to be playing the long game here. That's very important to kind of note because if he's playing the long game here, we have to do some introspection here, right? Why is why is um why is Kawaki doing this per se, right? I think he's doing this, right, to get the village on his side. Now there was already um during these last 3 years, right? I think he kind of did some introspection himself. We see he has a manifested Jojutsu, right? Now I think I definitely think that he's planning a coup. And um let me go ahead and change the title here because I don't know if you guys are seeing me. I hope you guys are seeing me right now. Uh let's see. Yeah, all right. Let me go ahead and change the title here. Shinobi is over. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm gonna change the title just really quick before I go and drop this piece of information because I think it's very vital. I think it's very vital indeed. All right. Yeah. All right. So let me go ahead and boop. All right. And then we're gonna do a all right. I think we've done it. Forgive me if hold on guys. Hold on guys. Didn't quite do it yet. Almost there. Hope you guys are doing well. Because this is about to be crazy. This is about to be crazy, guys. Because a lot of my predictions, I think, are about to come true. And anytime our predictions come true, you know what we have to do, right? We have to celebrate. We have to celebrate. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's see. Can we redrop this in here? Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I think that's what we'll do indeed. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Emperor Kawaki. Who is he and why is he here? He's here to save us from the shinobi world. And I believe that. Right? He is, I think he's over the time skip, he's definitely had some trouble trying to figure out um why stealing Naruto was the only route, right? And I think he's had some a lot of character development, more so than I think um most of the characters have had. Whether that's Code, Sasuke, all the characters that we've seen so far, I think Kawaki has been the one that's probably had the most. And I think we're about to see it very, very soon. Emperor Kawaki. I've had a stream on this. If you want to go back to, um, I've basically all my other streams. I've mentioned Emperor Kawaki being a thing, right? Now, why do I say Emperor, right? Why not Hokage? Well, I think he's going for something bigger, and I think Shikamaru is a really good is essentially going to be that stopgap of us knowing, like, hey, because a lot of people would question, why isn't Shikamaru like thinking of a plan by now? Well, that's because it's above Shikamaru. This is above Shikamaru's pay grade, right? And what I mean by that is it's just he's not an Otsutsuki. I definitely think that as an Otsutsuki, um, or at least with karma, you have certain insight that you wouldn't typically have in your yin half. Right now, the most people don't realize that are when you're a shinobi, you have a yin and you have a yang half. Now, you may be more proficient in your yin half, like Unuchiha, right? And you may be more proficient in your yang half, right? Like um, like the Shinju, right? And you may be proficient in both, like the Uzumaki, right? Now, I definitely think we'll get back to Uzumaki, but that's not what this stream is about. This stream is about the Code War being a pivotal factor for Emperor Kawaki and in the showcase for his development, right? In the time scheme. And how we'll get there, I think one of two things could happen, right? Either one, Code starts now, since he's in the leaf, he's waited years, 3 years to be exact, to pop up on the leaf, right? Now, technically, he thinks he's going for Kawaki, right? And that it's probably not it might be enough to keep him away from the village. But it's a little weird that he's doing it now. That he feels comfortable enough doing it now. That Boruto, basically Kawaki, and Ada and Damon are all in the same place at once. So what is Code planning? Right? Is he thinking? Regardless, right? I think that for Code or for Kawaki, what's going to happen is Code's going to do this assault. It may either be just in the leaf. Now, note, Code has thousands of thousands of claw grimes. So they're not just regular Zetsus, right? Um, or they're not just regular clones, if you will, right? These are tail um, spliced with karma and then Code's DNA, right? Now, theories on that too, but let's get back to the point here. The point is that for Code is going to unleash his claw grimes now. He could have 1,000 of them at the leaf, but I think 1,000 at the leaf is a little overkill. Just to make a statement, and we forget Code has karma. He has karma mode, and he's also unlimited. Now, if you look back to the picture where Code is getting his face stepped on by Boruto, you can see he's not too scared, not too unenthused, or very unenthused, right? Um, so he's not bothered at all. He probably expected that by now, right? Which leads me to believe in most people that he's probably had some interactions with Boruto, um, possibly, but that's not the point here, right? So as far as Kawaki goes, he's protecting. He's been playing his role for the last 3 years, right? Last 3 years been playing his role, protecting the civilians. Probably, getting pretty high as far as authoritatively, right? Gaining that authority for Boruto, or gaining that authority for the people of Konoha, right? For the Leaf, and I think that's gained him some attraction. And when the Code invasion happens, he will come out like Konohamaru. It's not Konohamaru. Shikamaru has not did anything for you, but who did? So I definitely think, right. This is because I definitely think Code is going to lose again. Now, Code has a bigger role than this, right? code is serving as the stepping stones, right, for development. But I also think we're gonna get some backstory on code pretty soon, whether that's now or later. I think that's just how um, the Boruto staff, Naruto staff, kind of writes things. The Boruto Naruto team writes things, and I think that when it pertains um, to Kawaki, he's been waiting on this moment the last 3 years. So when he when he him and Boruto scare off Code, right, and his clones, because I for some reason I don't think he'll unleash every claw grime on. I'm calling them clones. Uh, I don't think he'll unleash every claw grime on the leaf. I truly don't believe that. I think he'll probably make a worldly assault with thousands of clones. If they're as strong as we think they are, now I'm thinking they're all Sonic level, right? Sure, one of them got kicked by Sarada. We don't know how strong she is now. Technically, she has them on Gekyo. What how strong is she? Right? Is she like Kage level now? Is that I think when she's like we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Right? But I think each of these claw grimes are somewhere near Kage in um Sonic level, which means they're durable, they're powerful, especially together, and I think they're more so an accessory for code. I think that their purpose is to serve as an accessory, like a ninja tool, right? So code is going to utilize them, their eyes and their ears, pretty much like pain, right? And we're going to get another pain invasion for the leaf, but for the world. And this is going to be the way that Kawaki is going to say, okay, since I defeated Code this time, I will protect not only the leaf, but the shinobi world. And you will all listen to me now, because if you don't, Ada is going to not only control the leaf, but she's going to control the other villages. Now, this is a threat because even the leaf doesn't know they're being controlled. But if the thought of them being controlled potentially, and the threat of Ada and Damon being stronger than Otsutsuki's, and the thought of them being a threat, I think that'll push the civilians of the world to lean toward worshiping Kawaki in a sense, right? This is a direction. It's a very extreme direction, but I think it's the direction that we're going toward, and I'll tell you why. Right? But I think the events of episode one are right after that invasion, right after they scare off Code, right? Or Code could still be at the village, far maybe a little further away from the village, fighting with either Sarada or any of the other shinobi, whether that's Konohamaru, Kakashi, the fifth, and I wouldn't even be surprised if some of maybe the fifth passed away during the time skip. Um, but I'm sure we got Guy Sensei, we got Metal Lee. We still haven't seen Metal Lee, right? We got some people that can fend off the leaf, right? At least for a while. And I definitely think that when they meet up on that cliff, when Kawaki says the age of shinobi is over, I think what he's going to say after that is Sasuke's exact reference to the revolution, right? Kawaki is going to say he's going to start a revolution similar to what Sasuke said at the end of the war arc. Right. Because if you look at this, right, if you look at it linearly, Sasuke, he kind of just stopped talking about that revolution. And for some reason it just dissipated. His whole thought process, right? As if that was just like something he just thought of, and wasn't really passionate about going forward with, right? And he had some twisted mind, but I definitely think that this is something that was explored, but is going to be more thoroughly explored when it pertains to Kawaki because it's something that actually needed to be done. So see, this this is something we don't give the Uchiha enough credit for. They see things, but there's ever so rarely that one speaks up, like Sasuke. And then when they do, they get challenged for it, and they're viewed as the villain. But in this case, we have someone that can look at this realistically and say, no, our system is fundamentally flawed, right? The will of the will of fire is flawed. We need to get rid of that. Let's go ahead and start a revolution against the Otsutsuki, right? And to do that, I will crown myself Emperor Kawaki as your sole protector. I will fight Boruto because Boruto brought code here, right? Boruto is the only reason why the leaf got destroyed. I will fight Boruto, and I will fight the Otsutsuki. This is about Kawaki's campaign, right? Kawaki's been doing this, been going on with this campaign for the last 3 years, right? Right. So if you think about it, sort of like that, then Boruto saying, "I'm still a shinobi." I think what he means by that is exactly what we think, right? Um, he's still got Momoshiki, and a lot of people didn't necessarily um, look into this too much, but I definitely think that it's very possible Boruto killed Sasuke, or more so, Momoshiki killed Sasuke, right? Or at least wounded him, right? Now, someone by the name of, I want to say Fruit YT, something a few years back kind of gave me kind of made a theory, right? And the theory is Sasuke is a sword, right? Now this kind of ties into Boruto's abilities, right? Not that he would be able to turn life into a sword, although he probably could, being that Momoshiki can turn Otsutsuki into a fruit. But that's also a possibility that I didn't even think about until now. But I think more so, um, Kawaki or Sasuke may have turned himself into a sword, or he may be dead. I think either of those are very possible, but the sword, I think it's almost more likely because why would you kill off Sasuke off screen, right? If Sasuke is always with him, then he's his father's son, and his sensei is always with him. That's kind of poetic, and I think it more so kind of fits with the writing of the story. Um, I'll take your clothes and I'll make you my sword. Now, a lot of people forgot that Kawaki has the ability to shrink non-matter. So why would Boruto be running around here with a sword that he could not manage, right? Why would he be right? Now I think either one, an event occurred in the time skip and he unlocked the Jogan off screen, right? Two, right? Or two, uh, the Jogan has the ability. Oh, I guess an add-on. The Jogan has the ability to directly counter the Kawaki's dojutsu. Now, why would the Jogan have the ability to counter its dojutsu? Now, if um, Shiba's if this is all, if Shiba is the main god, which I don't think he is. I think there's more so a trinity, right? There's a god of chaos, a god of order, and I think the two clans on the moon represent both, right? I think there's also a third god, the sleeping god, right? This is a god in Hinduism, which we also see that there is some correlations within the Boruto Naruto franchise that Kishimoto likes to, and the staff likes to incorporate the sleeping god, the god that we see with all the million Jogons, right? Um, the all powerful sleeping god, the god that does things and does not realize, right? Right, which is why you need the two gods, chaos and order, to restore balance, right? So I definitely think that it's a possibility that Shibai is either the god of uh is one of those gods, the god of chaos or the god of order. And I think that the other god has the Jogan. Or actually the sleeping god has the Jogan. That we know. But the other god is most likely Himawari. I think she's being influenced by the god of either order or chaos. But it's not the same god as Shibai. Shibai is one of those gods, and the other god is influencing Himawari, um, is influencing Sarada, and I think that we'll start to see some more direct and weird events to occur um, closer to the end of Boruto. Now, a lot of people are saying that the war is against the Otsutsuki, but what if the Otsutsuki were already dead? Right? What if they already ascended? And what if those Otsutsuki came back to influence because they still had ties to the Shinobi world? Now, I think that it's possible that Boruto is being influenced primarily by Shibai because of his horn. And I think Shibai is able to do this because he is a god of chaos. I think the god of order could also do this as well. Um, and we see that it's probably an influence. I think that influence with Sarada derived with the Mangekyo. Um, sure, her situation makes sense, but it wasn't exactly. It didn't exactly feel right to me. It didn't feel like it was under the same pretenses, the same circumstance. Um, but I feel like it was just close enough to squeeze it in, just close enough to showcase it, and to there to not be any question about it. I definitely think that fans are going to forget that how and why Sarda unlocked her Mangekyo this way. Now, if we think about Boruto's Jogan, right? We go back. We're going to explore Boruto's abilities as well. We'll get back into that as we continue to gloss over this. Um, Now, Sasuke's Rinnegan, if Sasuke is dead, where did his Rinnegan go? Did Code take it? Did Boruto take it? I don't think Boruto would take it. I think Momoshiki would. Now, is that how he has his current Jogan? I think that the Jogan that we see, it looks like the Jogan that we see in episode 1, it looks like a Edo Tensei eye. Now, to me, what that means is we know that the world of the dead reside in the yin half of the world, right? Um, or the world of the dead. Uh, there's a specific world it's called, but uh, or the unpure world, unpure lands, right? But I think either one, Boruto took it and he's using it, right? Or And that's what became the Jogan that he has in episode 1, which we'll see in a few chapters on that cliff once we actually get the Code War. Um, or Boruto re-manifested the Jogan, and what we're seeing is the actual manifestation of the eye. But it's been manifested because it's had some time to um, occur with Momoshiki being 100%, right? And I definitely think that Shiba's influence does play some part in this. This is a very drawn out, long explanation that I think a lot of fans are going to catch on to, but um, and it's not catchy. It's not simple. It's not smooth. You got if you got Shiba influence, right, and he's the one that is actually utilizing um, Boruto, and it's if you haven't saw my previous theories, I essentially believe that the shikis of the Otsutsukis that we see is not actually um sorry, I'm not even is not actually Momoshiki. It's Shibai. It may be a personification of Momoshiki, which I think all the at the end of the day, I think okay, so just to kind of explain that part, right? Now I'll try to explain it within 2 minutes, right? Sorry, ice cream truck, I guess. So with Shibai ascended, I believe that there were a few Otsusukis who split and became personified versions of Shibai. Those being all the Shikis, Momoshiki, Irashiki, um, or Urashiki, sorry, Ishiki, right? Um, the other fucking the other fucking Shiki that was hanging out with Momoshiki. Um, all of these Shikis are just personified versions of the one true Otsutsuki, Shibai, right? And as soon as that personification got destroyed, right? As soon as these physical personifications got destroyed, they accumulated the data, sort of like a clone jutsu, right? And they went back to Shibai, right? They went back to Shibai. And when they went back to Shibai, um, they also left a little something, right? They left a karma behind. And that is what gave them a tie, gave Boruto a tie, right, to Shibai. The same when it pertains to Kawaki, right? Because these Otsusukis are like parasites, and what parasites do is they'll leave a little something behind before they die, right? Um, that's just what they do, and I will forever believe that these Otsusukis are like parasites because that's just what they do. Now, Otsusification, right? Otsusification, I believe that during the time skip, we'll get a little bit of what Boruto experienced when it pertains to Otsusification. Do I think that Kawaki went through this? I think his circumstance was a little different, but it's possible. It's possible still that he's went through some instances of Otsusification. And I think one of these instances specifically, and you guys are gonna laugh at me when I say this, but the hot springs. When all the Uzumakis went to the hot springs, we get this instance where Boruto and Kawaki, they're the only ones that see this yokai. And or these yokai. And these statues are very symbolic of the ones in the Uchiha layer. Um and we're and then the realm that Pain was in, right? Those statues. I'll see if I could. see if I could bring it on screen. But essentially, I definitely think some of the abilities, just pertaining to Otsification, some of the things that they cannot resist as Boruto and Kawaki, primarily Boruto, is seeing yokai, being haunted by yokai throughout the night. Right now, Otsification, what that means to me is slowly but surely becoming more and more Otsutsuki like. He's 100%, yes, but I think he's going to take um, a physical, um, how do you say, transformation is going to occur, right? Um, Permanently, right? Now, I've always said that Boruto, the story may not be about Boruto, and I might also get some flack for this. I do believe that this series is most likely about, and I want to be careful when I say this, right? I do believe that this series is not about Boruto, right? This may be about Kawaki. This has always been Kawaki's story. And I know it sounds dumb because Boruto, it's Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. Um, but it may, and to be more specific, Kawaki's resolve. But more so, I think it's going to be centered around Himawari, right? And just so I don't sound all over the place here, I definitely think that when it pertains to two blue vortexes, I think that one of those vortexes is Porto, and the other one, which we naturally assume is Kawaki, it's very possible that it is now, or actually, it's been Himawari this entire time. This specific influence that takes precedence, right, over Himawari. We've seen a little bit, but I definitely think that the um, the DNA combination with Uzumaki and Hyuga, I definitely think that there is some symbolic, something symbolic behind that, and some reasoning, some purpose to go back to the Uzumaki, right? I think they're very pivotal to the end of Boruto, and I definitely think that the when it pertains to the end of Boruto and maybe Kawaki will most likely sacrifice themselves. I definitely think that Kawaki will, but I feel like Boruto may ascend. I think Boruto may ascend, and it's weird. It's weird that I I'm kind of feeling like Code is more so just another Madara, um, or Madara. I'm feeling like he's going to set the toe for Two Blue Vortex. So don't sell Code short, right? At some point, I definitely feel like she's going to be able to absorb some of these clones back. But there's a reason why these sorry, claw grimes, these claw grimes are external from him, but they have his DNA. I think that there's a theme of clones gaining experience within the Naruto franchise, and then coming back. And I definitely think these claw grimes are going to serve as that role. They're going to gain experience. Now it's weird because it's assumed that it's Ishiki's karma, right? Because of what Ishiki did, but it's white, right? And for some reason, for that, for me, um, there's a few things that came to mind. Either one, Kawaki or Ishiki put his yang half of his karma on him, or two, or both, Shibai was able to kind of complete the karma, um, which is why the current Ishiki was not able to gain control over the karma. Now it's very twisted, it's very confusing, right? But that's my two guesses on that. I won't get too into it in this current video. But there will be a second video where I'll explain the parts that I didn't flesh out when it pertains to um, codes, codes karma, and the fact that I think he might be an Uzumaki. His hair went from red to white. Um, and this has been a thing that's been talked about for years, and it's not explored too much. But I definitely think there was, if you looked at Izuna, I want to say his name was Uzumaki. There's something there, right? There's a reason. And did omnipresence actually occur with the Uzumaki? Is that why they're supposedly um, destroyed by all the other villages? You know, or did the were the Otsutsuki here all along, hiding behind um hiding behind shinobis, trying to find a way to change fate to revive Shibai Otsutsuki. Um, Now, why would they do that? I definitely, being that they are Shibai in my own personal headcanon. Um, I would assume that I would assume that they would of course be doing his bidding because he does not like his role. He wants to be the one true God, the one most powerful, the one who possesses the same eye as Boruto. Boruto has his karma, sure, but the I think that I comes from somewhere special. Um, it may have been something that was left behind or something that was acquired by the Hyuga, and of course, I'm sure we'll learn a little bit more lore on the Hyuga of the moon, especially when it pertains to the two clans as Two Blue Vortex continues. And a lot of people kind of shift the attention toward Boruto, Two Blue Vortex, the moon events. They shift the attention there because they think that Boruto may have visited the moon on the time skip. Do I think that? I honestly, I can't say for a fact that he did go for a moon, go to the moon and train. I also don't think that Momoshiki would allow him to seal Huneri. Um, there were some instances where Momoshiki was able to kind of come out in an instance, and there were some instances where Boruto was kind of fatigued or unable to fight, and Momoshiki had to kind of defend himself. Now, it's definitely weird to me that there's no reasonable cause currently that we can see for a fact. We can say for a fact that Momoshiki can come out during this time. I think we'll learn that. And I think after the events of chapter one, which will come very soon, um, but I think more so the reason why I brought up a time skip is because they're obviously in different clothes. Now, of course, there's been a redesign with the characters, um, and but the previous design looks a little bit older to me, which is why I suggested a time skip, right? Or at least a few month time skip, right? Now they could still fit it in, maybe a few months, but because in linear fashion, I see the Cold War happening, then maybe Boruto and Code being scared away. Now I know most people believe that he's the strongest currently, but I don't think he is currently capable of being the strongest now. I think there's still some development that he has to kind of tackle. I think that Sasuke came out of the picture relatively fast, and I do think that Kashin Koji is going to, if he's not already, going to come into the picture and be a strong replacement for Sasuke. I think this is a good marketing move. I get a good move overall when it pertains to who um, Kashin Koji is, and I think more so that he's going to have some type of memory relapses of the previous Jiraiya, and this is what's going to this is what's going to help Boruto currently, um, and give him some sense of peace that Naruto may not be able to come back. Um, Now, I definitely think that they're going to save Naruto's return until the very end, and I don't think that'll necessarily be Kawaki. Um, Although it's very likely that Kawaki will make a complete turnaround and release Naruto. I think he'll. I think he'll. I think what will occur is Himawari will find out. She'll. I think she'll gain a certain level of strength enough to be um, a contender, right? Excuse me. And I think that this level of strength is going to allow her to connect with Naruto and Hinata. Now we got to think it's not just Naruto. It's Naruto and Hinata. So I definitely think that during that time, Himawari is going to be the one to release officially here. Not going back on this. Not anytime soon. That Himawari is going to be the one to release Naruto and Hinata toward the end of Naruto, because there's going to be some training, some events to occur to make her stronger and more of a make her a better character, a more suited character for that role. Um, and I think as far as Boruto goes, I think he'll definitely start to suffer. We'll see a lot more of his suffering of ossification more specifically. But I definitely think that Kashin Koji can come in as that non-biased factor and not necessarily be Boruto's friend, um, but more so just guidance, Jiraiya wise. You kind of give him like, hey, I remember these things, um, but I don't know why. Now I know I'm a clone of this guy named Jiraiya, but I don't know why I know these things. But I know that you should know this, Boruto. Right? I definitely see a lot of that going on, um, and I'm interested to find out how they're gonna go about it. It sounds like this is going to be, if this goes down the way I believe it's going to go down in the next 5 chapters or so. Um, I definitely think that we're going to see Emperor Kawaki. We're going to see the Code War. The Age of Shinobi is over, right? Within Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, it's just going to go down in that fashion, and I think that I would personally love to see a little bit more Code background and whether or not he's confirmation, whether or not he's an Uzumaki, because that would make not only one, two Uzumaki being Himari and Boruto, the two blue vortex, but it would be three with Code being a clone of an Uzumaki. Um, I think those are very real possibilities. And if you like what we had to say today, leave a like, leave a comment, and let us know how you feel about everything. If you want to talk about this a little further, again, this is not a new theory, but I definitely think that the um, the revolution of Sasuke is going to be making a very, very near return, in the form of uh, Kawaki. I don't think a lot of people give him credit for Kawaki's intuition. Kawaki is very intuitive, and I definitely think that we're going to see a lot of his smarts. We saw it a little bit in episode one. Episode one just kind of confirmed to me, yes, he's definitely in this leadership type mind state, to try to protect the world, the Leaf. Granted, his mentor was the seventh Hokage, Naruto Uzumaki, right? And so he's going to take that philosophy and change it just a little bit, right? Um, so I hope you guys appreciated this stream, liked some of the ideas that we had. Again, check out some of the other streams that we talk about this a little more thoroughly. Don't be don't be too like scared to check them out, being that there's been a time skip. A lot of those ideas are still relevant. Um, Even today, I've had a lot of the theories that I pushed. They still there may be like maybe a few things within the theories, but overall, those theories are actually still relevant. A lot of those theories are considered predictions that have a lot of those events have came true. So check them out. Check out the end, Boruto's end. Um, so many theories that I've checked that I've did with in live streams that I did with other people, and yeah, let me know how you feel about this video about the Age of Shinobi, Cold War, right? Let me know how you feel about two blue vortexes being Himawari and Boruto, and that Boruto may die at the end, or he may ascend. Um, I think Kawaki may die. Either one will die, one will ascend, um, along those lines. And I definitely think that Shibai is still influencing the Shinobi world, and Kawaki's got to be the guy to take care of that. Now, granted, he's going to do some shady things to get there, um, being a dictator over the Shinobi world. Emperor Kawaki is a dictatorship, but or will be a dictatorship, I think, and with the authority of Ada and Damon. So, if you like that idea, and you want to see, you want to see that, you want to talk about that, join the Discord, and yeah, we'll catch you next time, travelers. I think I might do a stream, kind of exploring some of the ins and outs of specific characters, more specifically the end of Boruto, because I think that there's a lot of things that we didn't include. This was more so just chapters 1 through 5, um, leading us up into the events of chapter 1. Um, some people think that's toward the end of Boruto. Some people think that's I guess now people think it's toward um it's soon, but I'm willing to bet that it's gonna happen very, very soon. And this was my prediction. This has always been my prediction. I think I'm willing to die on that hill. So if you guys are willing to die on that hill as well, let me know. That way I can congratulate you on being synchronized with the Sync Zone podcast. And yeah, we will see you next time, travelers. Hope you guys have a great day, a great weekend, and tune in later for more streams. Peace.